we have here this digital multimeter, and we also have analog multimeter. And as you can see, a multimeter is also known as a VOM. It's an electronic measuring instrument that combines several measurement functions in one unit. But in this section, we are here to talk about voltage. And voltage is the power that a battery contains, or from an electronic circuit or an adapter, which we have here. And with the help of the multimeter, we can determine the voltage of the battery or the adapter here. So let me put this down. And as you can see here, a typical multimeter can measure voltage, current, and resistance. Analog multimeter use a micrometer with a moving pointer to display recordings or readings. So this is an example of an analog multimeter. It has a stroke here which moves to determine the reading. So in a digital multimeter like we have here, a digital multimeter is a test tool used to measure two or more electrical values, principally voltages, current, which current is known as amps, and resistance, which is ohms. So in this section, we are here to talk about voltage and how to measure voltage. So to measure the voltage on the multimeter, the multimeter has so many divisions, and like on the clock from 9 to 12, let's assume that there's a clock from 9 to 12, it talks about voltage, and on that section we have ranges. In that range we have 600 volts, 200 volts, 20 volt, and 2 volts. So assuming that I want to check the voltage of this battery, on the writing of the battery it's stated 3.7 volts, but on a full charge it's 4.2 volts. So since we know that the full charge is 4.2 volts, on the multimeter we'll go to 20 volts because 4.2 volts lies in the range of 20 volts. So we'll set it to 20 volts. 20 volts here. So after setting it there, we now take the probes. We have black and red, where the red is positive and the black is negative. So to test this battery, it's written on it positive and negative. So we take the positive probe, we attach it to the positive on the battery, and we take the negative probe and we attach it to the negative of the battery. So as we do this, we check the reading on the multimeter. So the reading on the multimeter here is 3.75. Yeah, this will vary from the other batteries here. So I'll distribute the batteries to my tech students so that they test these batteries. So Ophelia here is going to test the battery. So she's checking the voltage of this battery. And Ophelia, what is the reading of the battery?
3.99.
3.99 volts. So we pass the multimeter to Joshua. So Joshua is checking. So Joshua, what's your reading?
3.75.
So Joshua's reading is 3.75. So we pass the multimeter to Zachariah. So as you can see on Zachariah's reading, on the battery, the plus is referred to as the positive, and the red here is referred to as the positive, and the minus here is referred to as the negative, whereas the black is referred to as the negative. So we now pass it to
Yes, ma'am.
so Zachariah, what's the reading on the multimeter?
3.52.
So 3.52. You now pass it to Desmond. So Desmond is checking the reading on the multimeter. So Desmond, what's your reading?
3.52.
So Desmond's reading is 3.5. You now pass it to David. So David, what's your reading? 4.5. So David's reading is 4.05. You understand? So assuming that these batteries are in your gadget, and now you find out that your gadget is failing. So with the help of the multimeter, you can test. Give me one battery. So in this case, this is a dead battery, and when you check the voltage of this battery is going to be zero, right?
Yeah.
So assuming that this battery is in your battery pack, and it stops working. So with the help of the multimeter, we'll check this first battery, which is the 41, is showing 0 volts. The second one, which is about 3.99 to 4.0. The third one, which is 3.75. So we are able to determine that this is a dead battery.
Yes, 0, 0.
Which is 0, 0. So with the help of the multimeter, we find out that this battery is dead, and we can look for a battery to replace in our device, and our device will now begin to work. And its total voltage is about 11.29, and that's the standard voltage for most batteries laptop use. I'm asking that do any of you have questions pertaining the voltage measurement? So Joshua has a question. What's your question?
I was asking that you said the multimeter determines whether the battery is dead or it's working.
Yeah.
And when you did it, it was not working.
Yeah.
It was working. And this too was working.
Not working.
So I was asking that when it's being placed like this, and you check it from this place to this place, will it work?
It's going to work, but it's going to give you the voltage for these two. So let's check the voltage for these two. It's about 7.75. So let's bring it here. Still 7.75. Right. Any question?
Can the multimeter be used to measure any battery at all?
Yeah, any battery. Regarding Ophelia's question, she asked that can the voltmeter be used in measuring any kind of battery? Yes, it can. But before you measure any kind of battery, it's written on the battery that it's 3.7 volts. So if you want to measure this 3.7 volts, you go to the multimeter and you change it to the ranges. So if you want to measure a 3.7 volt battery, you go to the 20 volts. That's a range. If you want to measure a battery that is about 50 volts, 70 volts, you go to the range of 200 volts, because 70 volts lies in the range of 200. So here we want to measure this battery, which is a camera battery, and it's 3.7 volts. So we twist it to 20 volts, right? And when you look closely on the battery, there is a plus and a negative. So earlier I said the plus is a positive and the minus is a negative. And on the probes of these, the red is positive and the black is negative. So we put the positive probe on the positive of the battery and the negative probe on the negative of the battery. So you can see the multimeter is doing the reading, and the reading of this battery is 3.62 volts. Don't forget to add the volt. So the reading is 3.62 volts. Yeah. So any other question?
So when this is dead,
Yeah.
can it be recharged or is dead now?
So due to the wear and tear of the cells in the battery, some could work. If you charge it right now, it's going to charge fully. But within an hour, you see that all the power will be depleted. Yeah. And it's advisable that when you're having these batteries around, it's advisable you don't let it go below 20 volts. I mean 20% of the whole capacity. Because if you do that constantly, it's going to bring down the value of the battery. Yeah. Any question?
Okay. I was
Yeah.
asking if it is used to test only batteries.
Batteries. It's not only batteries. You can also test for the components on the board. Yeah. So there are a lot of features on this multimeter, but in this section we're only talking about the voltage and how to use to measure the voltage of a battery or the voltage outlet of an adapter.
So I can change this.
Yeah, you can check it, but if you plug it right now, it's going to blow the multimeter. With this multimeter, it's not having safety features. There are some multimeters which have safety features and they are very, very expensive. So to check the voltage of this, you have to switch it to alternating current. Any question? No question. So, pause. We bring this session to an end, and also please share and subscribe so that Vouch can get its name all over Ghana.